Trying to play Outlaw Rogue and feel like you're button mashing with no clue to what's actually going on? Or maybe you heard it's easy until you actually tried it yourself. In this video, I'll show exactly how to play Outlaw Rogue properly without getting overwhelmed. Outlaw Rogue is a high-paced, reaction-based spec that builds around managing two main resources: energy and combo points. You use abilities called builders to generate combo points, and then you spend them on powerful finishers. What makes Outlaw unique is how those finishers interact with cooldowns through a passive called Restless Blades, which reduces the remaining cooldown of key abilities every time you spend combo points. The core builders you'll use are Sinister Strike, your primary filler, and combo point generator. It deals moderate damage and has a 35% chance to strike again, which triggers Opportunity, a passive that makes your next pistol shot cost half energy and deal double damage. Pistol Shot is a ranged builder that you should use only when Opportunity is active. Because we're using this build in Mythic Plus, you'll get plenty more combo points from it from utilizing Quick Draw and Fan of the Hammer. And Ambush, a strong builder that can only be used from stealth or during Subterfuge. It grants 3 combo points thanks to improved Ambush and also has the same 35% chance to trigger Opportunity. Once you've built enough combo points, typically 5 or more, depending on talents, you'll spend them on finisher. Your main finishers are Between the Eyes, a ranged pistol-based finisher that increases your crit chance by 20% and deals quadruple damage on crit. This is an important finisher due to how it scales with crit and interact with stealth talents like Crack Shot, which resets its cooldown when entering stealth. Dispatch, a straightforward melee finisher used when Between the Eyes is on cooldown. It scales with combo points and fills gaps between more impactful finishers. And Killing Spree, a bursty finisher that teleports you between enemies, dealing rapid damage and best used when you're not in stealth or subterfuge. You should use these spenders as much as humanly possible since they reduce the cooldown of key abilities. One of those abilities is your most important cooldown, which is Adrenaline Rush. Adrenaline Rush boosts your energy regeneration and attack speed, and it also reduces your global cooldown depending on your haste. Outlaw's power comes from keeping Adrenaline Rush active as much as possible. To extend Adrenaline Rush uptime even further, you'll use Vanish to enter stealth, which thanks to the underhanded upper hand talent, pauses Adrenaline Rush's duration while in stealth. This gives you breathing room and lets you line up big damage finishers using Between the Eyes, which, as we already mentioned, is empowered by the Crack Shot talent, which resets the cooldown whenever you enter stealth. For AoE, Blade Flurry is your defining ability. When activated, it strikes up to 8 nearby enemies and causes all of your single target attacks to cleave for 50% of their damage. This cleave effect stays active for 12 seconds with a 30-second cooldown. But because of Restless Blades, its cooldown gets shortened by every finisher you use, which means it can essentially stay up forever as long as you keep spending combo points. One of the most iconic parts of Outlaw Rogue is Roll the Bones, a 45-second cooldown that grants a random selection of combat-enhancing buffs for 30 seconds. The buffs are drawn from a pool of 6, and their effects significantly alter how efficiently you build resources, deal damage, or reduce cooldowns. Managing these buffs is a part of what makes Outlaw so dynamic. With the Count the Odds passive, you can maintain multiple buffs consistently and smooth out some of the randomness. Let's go over the 6 buffs in order. Broadside, your combo point builders deal 50% more damage and generate 1 extra combo point. Buried Treasure increases all of your energy regeneration by 5 per second. Grand Melee increases all of your damage by 5% and boosts Blade Flurry's damage by an additional 10%. Ruthless Precision grants 60% crit chance to Between the Eyes and 50% crit chance to all other abilities. Skull and Crossbones increases the chance for Sinister Strike to trigger Opportunity by 25%. And True Bearing enhances Restless Blades by reducing cooldowns by an additional ½ second per combo point spent. Even though Roll the Bones appears heavily RNG based, it contributes surprisingly little to overall variance when played correctly. The key is to maintain uptime and follow consistent reroll rules. Keep rerolling until you get 5 buffs. The general idea is the same. If you're sitting on anything less than a high roll outcome, keep fishing. There are 2 dominant builds for Outlaw Rogue and Mythic Plus right now: Hidden Opportunity and Keep It Rolling. Hidden Opportunity is easier to pick up, less stat dependent, and fits cleanly into a predictable priority system. Keep It Rolling builds lean harder into the roll the bones RNG and have a stricter gear requirements, especially around haste. In both builds, the core gameplay remains the same, but Keep It Rolling introduces more complexity and faster pacing. I recommend starting with Hidden Opportunity if you're new or under-geared. Once you're comfortable with the spec and have more haste, Keep It Rolling becomes a fun and rewarding alternative. Now, I want to explain why haste matters for Keep It Rolling builds. Adrenaline Rush scales with haste. It no longer gives you its full global cooldown reduction by default. You'll need around 25% haste to get the full benefit. In Opportunity builds don't rely on this as much, but Keep It Rolling builds need that fast GCD and energy regeneration to function properly. Without enough haste, it just wouldn't work. Because this video is meant to help newer players learn Outlaw, we'll be focusing on the Hidden Opportunity build for the rest of the guide. Now let's talk about our hero talents. When you pick the Trickster hero talent tree, your gameplay changes in a few key ways, mostly around passive damage bonuses, stealth windows, and finishers. Your first major passive is Unseen Blade. Every 20 seconds, your next sinister strike or ambush will deal bonus damage and apply phased, a debuff that increases the damage the target takes from you by 5% and makes them unable to parry your attacks. You don't have to think about it much, it just happens automatically every 20 seconds or faster with certain talents. Triggering Unseen Blades also feeds into your capstone, Coup de Grace. Once you've triggered Unseen Blade 4 times, your next dispatch is upgraded into Coup de Grace, a high damage finisher that launches you at the target and deals damage as if you have spent 5 extra combo points. If the target is phased, Coup de Grace also grants you 5 stacks of Flawless Form instantly. Flawless Form is a passive buff that stacks each time you cast Killing Spree or trigger Unseen Blade. Each stack increases the damage of your finishers, Dispatch, Killing Spree, and Between the Eyes by 3%. The stacks themselves don't refresh, they overlap, so hitting a face target with Coup de Grace can instantly juice up your next few finishers. In AoE, you also gain Nimble Fury when Blade Flurry is active. This increases your cleave damage during Flawless Form, making it especially important to align phased finishers and Blade Flurry uptime when possible. Outlaw's single target gameplay isn't a fixed rotation. It's a flexible, high APM priority system that constantly reacts to buffs, cooldowns, and procs. Now we'll go over our single target priority from highest to lowest. Our highest priority is Roll the Bones. You always have to reroll if you have less than 5 buffs. Even during Subterfuge, it's worth rerolling unless you're holding 5 buffs. The next priority is Adrenaline Rush. Use this on cooldown when you have 2 or fewer combo points. Your entire flow revolves around maximizing uptime of Adrenaline Rush. Killing Spree. Use at 6 or more combo points, but never during Subterfuge. And don't use it over Vanish if Adrenaline Rush has 5 seconds or less remaining. Your next priority is Coup de Grace. Use at 5 or more combo points, but never during Subterfuge. Save it until your stealth window ends. During crackshot windows, Between the Eyes is dramatically stronger, especially with the Ace Up Your Sleeve procs and stealth interaction. So you want to fit in as many Between the Eyes as possible within your Subterfuge or stealth window. You only cast Coup de Grace afterwards, which ties directly into your next priority. Use Vanish on cooldown. You have 2 stacks of it and you want to make sure you're utilizing those 2 charges whenever it's possible to, again, use Between the Eyes as much as you can. You would use Vanish followed immediately by Between the Eyes because we already know the cooldown of Between the Eyes will be reset. You would prioritize using Between the Eyes with 6 or more combo points, while Adrenaline Rush is active, and any of the following is true: Adrenaline Rush has less than 3 seconds remaining, Vanish is about to overcap, so less than 15 seconds cooldown, and Killing Spree is less than 20 seconds coming off cooldown, or Supercharger is active. Then your next priority is, just as we said, Between the Eyes, preferably with 6 or more combo points if the crit buff is about to fall off, so about 4 seconds remaining, and you have a Ruthless Precision active from Roll the Bones. Again, during your stealth windows, treat this as your only finisher. Otherwise, if you cannot use Killing Spree or Between the Eyes, you would use Dispatch as your go-to finisher, and you would prefer to use it at 6 or more combo points. Now that we know to prioritize our finishers and cooldowns first, next priority is our builders from highest to lowest. Ambush, use whenever you're inside Subterfuge or if you have an Audacity proc. You only use it at 4 or fewer combo points. Pistol Shot, use it if you have an Opportunity proc, but only at 4 or fewer combo points. And Sinister Strike, your fallback builder, you would use it at 5 or fewer combo points, but only if nothing else is available. Your entire rotation supports a single goal: get as many finishers out as possible, keeping Adrenaline Rush rolling and your cooldowns refreshing through Restless Blades. But the nuance is how you juggle stealth windows, time Vanish intelligently, and adapt your priority based on our priority list. Now we'll go over the AoE priority. Now Outlaw's AoE priority is nearly identical to its single target priority. Thanks to Blade Flurry, all your single target abilities cleave to nearby enemies for 50% of their damage, letting you use just the same core rotation with just barely any changes. The only real change is the addition of Blade Flurry. You would use it if you're fighting 2 or more enemies, and you will always prioritize maintaining uptime during combat. Otherwise, you'll follow the exact same priority system as single target. So, strong single target fundamentals directly carry over to AoE. Your damage comes from clean execution, not AoE specific abilities. And the underhanded upper hand talent remains crucial in Mythic Plus by pausing Adrenaline Rush during stealth between packs. Just remember that sometimes RP events can break stealth, so don't recast Adrenaline Rush at the end of a pack if you're about to lose the buff. Outlaw Rogue is all about staying active. Your job is to keep combo points flowing, cooldown cycling, and finishers landing. Whether it's maintaining uptime on Adrenaline Rush, reacting to Opportunity and Audacity, and threading your Vanish windows to line up with Between the Eyes casts, this spec constantly rewards fast, precise decision making. What makes this spec stand out isn't big cooldown moments, it's uptime, control, and momentum. When played well, Outlaw Rogue feels like it never stops attacking, never stops pressing, and always has something to do. But the margin for error is small. If you miss Vanish timing, sit on a proc too long, or let energy overcap, your whole flow can fall apart. If you made it this far and this guide helped you understand the spec, like the video, subscribe for more class guides like this one, and drop a comment if you have any questions. As always, I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.